recognizing our own power and using our own power in the way that we wanted to, with others, with ourselves, etc. So Temperance is really encouraging us to create what we want, especially after we've taken responsibility, realize that decision making is coming into play here in order to create balance, realizing that we can handle creating balance by stepping up to the plate and saying, no, I don't want to do that when we're too tired, or it's time to end this relationship when something's at an end, or it's time to end this work environment situation when it's become untenable for us. So Temperance helps us to handle this process of transition in a really beautiful way because it helps us to see the art in our experience. I really believe that about Temperance, and I've always found her to be a unique card, one that deserves a lot of meditative work. So that's why I thought Temperance would be a good card to include with creating balance in our lives. So if we look at some minor arcana cards that go along with creating balance, I think one that most of us think of is the Two of Swords. And again, this is telling us that we're stuck and that there is a decision to be made, and that really the answer to this conundrum lies not outside of ourselves but inside of ourselves. Again, going back to the Chariot, but mirrored through situations, problems, questions that we're experiencing in our life. And I think the Two of Swords really encourages us to use our intuition to be active and not just in an overthinking space. And so this means taking responsibility, but being active in that responsibility, and no longer sitting back and not moving, but getting involved and knowing what it is that we really want deep down inside. And so that's why I think Two of Swords is a great card to help us when we are trying to find a way to create balance in our lives, when we're really in a space of where we've just taken on too much and we're exhausted and we don't know what to do next, or however that need for balance is manifesting itself in your life. The Two of Swords helps us in that process. Going along with that, I think of the Six of Pentacles. And I think of the Six of Pentacles when we're talking about balance, because to me, if we're in an experience of imbalance, then our giving and receiving levels are also in a space of imbalance. So I am always encouraged to take a look at, am I giving too much? And if I'm giving too much, why aren't I allowing myself to receive it all? Because I can only give so much if I'm not receiving. And there's not an equal experience. And so this can't continue. And there's going to be a state of, I'm trying to think of the right word right now, a state of, I guess, unhappiness. That's not really the word I'm looking for. But when you're not giving and receiving equally, and when you're not doing it for the right reasons, if you're doing it because you feel you have to, and because it's a burden, if you're in the space of the Ten of Wands with your giving, then it's not worth it. It's not worth it for the person receiving, and it's especially not worth it for you. So I think the Six of Pentacles really encourages us to examine the aspects of give and take and giving and receiving that we're experiencing in our life, because that is coming into play with the state of imbalance that we're currently experiencing. So I think the Six of Pentacles is something that's really great for us to examine, and I mean truthfully take a look at it, not sugarcoating it, but right down to the bone about how our view is about giving and receiving, and how much we're doing of each. So I did bring the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Swords into this discussion. I wanted to bring both of these into the discussion because I feel like both of these things are telling us that something, both of these cards, not things, both of these energies really, and these symbols are really sharing with us that something has ended and it's time to let it go. Ten of Wands is also encouraging us to set down our burdens, or to realize that we have willingly taken on these burdens and commitments, and that it would be wise for us to put down what can be put down, and to stop the cycle of taking on too much. And of course, the Ten of Swords is letting us know that it's time to let go of a story, of a person, of a relationship, of an experience that has truly reached its end. It's time to allow rebirth to occur, and to stop beating a dead horse, as people say. So both of these cards are encouraging us to allow a death to occur so that the scales can be brought back into balance, so that justice can be brought back into balance. And oftentimes I do find that there's a chapter closing in our lives when we're experiencing imbalance. And of course fear comes in, and so then we hold on to the story that makes us feel comfortable. But I think both of these cards, especially in conjunction with all the other cards that we've just talked about together, really, really help us to see the whole picture of where the imbalance is in our lives and how to change that. So I find both of those cards really beneficial at this time. Now, the last two cards that I wanted to talk about, these cards aren't necessarily ones that we would think of in regards to creating balance in our lives, but they're two cards that I have really been looking to as a goal for myself. And so I thought that maybe sharing this would encourage you to find the cards in your deck that really help you to see, where you want to go with creating balance in your life. So I want to talk first about the Nine of Pentacles. Now, of course, everyone has their own experience with the Nine of Pentacles and their own feelings about the Nine of Pentacles. This card has always been one of the cards in tarot that makes me feel the most calm and relaxed. And it's really the space that I want to be in. And that is one of solitary independence, an ability to take care of oneself and not need someone else to do the hard work for you, an understanding of the consequences of certain choices in your life, but the ability to be calm and to understand those consequences and to accept them as your right. That is what I think of whenever I work with the Nine of Pentacles. And so for me, she's really a very beautiful, feminine strength card. And so I am including her in this discussion of how to find balance, because I think that she is a space and she has an innate understanding of that balance and what goes into creating it. And she's certainly a goal for me at this time to realize for myself that you can create what you want to create, no matter what the circumstances are. So I think her message is really beautiful and very powerful, especially in relation to creating balance. The other card is the Queen of Swords. Now, we all have our own experience with the Queen of Swords. I love her in this deck because she looks like Queen Elizabeth, and I have a little thing for Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, I have a little thing for Queen Elizabeth. I love her. So again, quite similar to the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like the Queen of Swords, when we look at her in her balanced state, is someone who really understands the path that she has trod and the experiences that she had on that path, and yet she's in a space where she is composed, confident, and in her power. And she will brook no fools, right? I mean, she's not going to take any crap. So I think that when you are trying to achieve balance, looking at the Queen of Swords in her most harmonious state is helpful to realize that the balance can occur, even though oftentimes difficult decisions and owning up to your own responsibility in the situations, and then being proactive about changing the habitual response patterns that you have. I think that the Queen of Swords helps us to see that that can be accomplished, and that there is strength in our human experience as well for us. So to me, this is the Queen of Swords in her most harmonious state, again, is a really powerful card to meditate with when we're looking to create balance in our lives. So I hope you are all doing well and that you've weathered the holiday season. I hope that you had wonderful Yules, those of you who celebrate Yule and the winter solstice. I'm so excited to hear what all of you are doing this year. I thank you all for your support, and I look forward to what we all do in 2014. Many blessings and much love, guys. Bye.